Hi everyone, so another day and another Radiohead track gets released, and I just wanted to give my thoughts on listening to their newest single, Daydreaming. Now this track is extremely mellow, especially when you compare it to their release of Burn the Witch, which was sort of generally a lot more sort of frenetic, and generally speaking, this is a lot less frenetic than many of their previous singles, even including from the likes of King of Lings and In Rainbows. It's just less fidgety, more focused, more. I don't say focused like it's like all their other tracks are sort of completely unfocused. I just mean there's sort of more calm and more collection around this one. It really reminds me. It sounds like these guys have been binging on Sigur Rós, and maybe a little bit of sort of the more chilled side of the band Maps. Now, when I first heard it, the first thing I thought of is this reminds me so much of Pyramid Song from Amnesiac. But also, when I was just the more I listen to it, the more I pick up sort of elements of things like Nice Dream, Packed Like Sardines in a Crushed Tin Box. Definitely How to Disappear Completely, and even the Tom York's vocal style is more like Street Spirit and Bulletproof. There's sort of less distortion and pain in it. It just seems more peaceful almost. Now this song sort of just builds and builds and builds, and there's really interesting use of backing vocals in the song, which is not something we've seen from Radiohead for a long time. Now, the focus instrumentally is definitely on the piano. In fact, you can barely catch anything else. There's pianos, drums, and a little bit of strings in there. And the lyrics are extremely wistful as well. Lyrics like Dreamers, they never learn. And the strange ending where Tom York sings the lyrics of Half My Life, but they're played backwards. So it's almost sounds like distortion almost. Now, I wanted to talk about the music video as well. Now, the music video raises a lot of questions for me as well. It's very much more arty and thought-provoking, with less of a clear directive than Burn the Witch. Now, in the video, Tom York seems to be going through different doors and through sort of different buildings. And then when he opens some doors, he just comes out into this beautiful scenery. Now, one thing I noticed in this video is Tom York is suddenly looking quite old. You know, he seems like the years have caught up with him. However, that definitely is not reflected in his style of singing. I mean, he just looks a bit sort of haggard almost in the video. Not that that's a negative or anything, it's just something I noticed. Now, I think this thing has a few things to say. I initially thought this was about the environment, say that one day we may not be able to see beautiful views like this whenever we go out of our doors. But it also, I think it shows a feeling of not being part of the world, as Tom York is either shown with no one on screen with him when he's walking, or with many people, but he's not interacting with any of them. And I had a chat with a friend of mine who was also a huge Radiohead fan, and he seemed to think that the part of this was like aspiring, creating that level of perfection. There's lots of references to climbing and stairs and mountains and getting higher and higher, and only at the points when he's ascending is he on his own, as if he's talking about the work that you have to do, the solo effort you have to put in to get to this level of perfection that you're aspiring to. It's definitely raised a lot of questions, and there's going to be a lot of debate going on about this video. Now, this is going to make for a very interesting album, as this song is so different from Burn the Witch. And I got to say, this is making me so much more curious as to their album release, which is going to be on the 8th of May. I am so looking forward to this one. Now, the other thing that intrigues me is how they sort of promoted this, or how this album has been, let's call it, marketed, as they've not done anything sensible in it. They've thrown out all commercial sense in this one, dropping 2 singles within a few days of each other, and then an album a few days later. That goes against every marketing, strategy that you could ever think of. Is that genius or madness? Personally, I mean, it's Radiohead, so I'm a huge Radiohead fan, so I'm always going to say it's genius. But I actually genuinely do think this is genius, because they're the only ones doing this. No one else has just decided, you know what, sod it. I'm going to say, I know what's supposed to be done. We're Radiohead. We don't do what's supposed to be done. This is how you stand out from the crowd. You shun what everyone else is doing, and you start leading the way. And there's so much sort of irony in getting social media to take notice of you by deleting your social media presence. I mean, I gotta say, I adore this song. I think this is one of Radiohead's strongest songs since They're There. Since Hail to the Thief. I think this is possibly their best track of the last 15 years or so. I absolutely adore this song. It's so peaceful. I haven't seen a truly peaceful Radiohead song in years. So, guys, I'd love to hear what everyone else has to think about this. I'd love to hear anyone's comments on it. I'm a huge Radiohead fan. I'm really interested to see what everyone else says. Stick your name down below. Stick a comment down below. Hopefully we can get a discussion on this going. And I'd love to hear what everyone thinks. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye.